Hi, hi, Ezra. Hi, Ezra. Very, very, very cool.
Zay staring right
Okay,
at you. So.
so yeah, so hello, family, Unlimited Wisdom family. Thank you for coming into another Daily Wisdom. Hi, Dustin. And today, where is it? All right, hang on a little bit here. Okay. Um, I'm gonna send you guys a video after this, but I just wanted a video of similar to what we've sort of done in the past to sort of get your head when I tell people, hey, listen, you need to figure out what you need to do. And I just really, really, there's so much that seems to be changing in the world right now. Just like I remember, my first years in network marketing, you would run into quite a few people that had this game plan. It was all ironed out. And I know that some of you were a part of that and some of you weren't. But the whole concept was to get an education. Some of you got degrees, and then from there you go get a job and you're there for 40 years, and you retire and you get your gold watch. And then your all your what is it called? All your retirement's taken care, and you go off into your golden years. And I can remember that it was correct, Craig. What was it? 40 years, 40 hours, something.
40 hours for 40 years and get 40% in retirement. 40 hours a week
Yeah,
for 40 years. That's what it was.
and get 40% of your retirement. And then I realized that this had to be around 2000, when all of a sudden, isn't it interesting? That's probably about the time the internet became available for everyone. But then all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, you heard about these awful things that people were figuring out ways, corporations were figuring out ways to be able to get rid of the people before they retired. And we heard these massive layoffs. And the next thing you heard is that, well, we don't have retirement plans for anybody anymore. And then they started reading out the benefits. And I can remember magazines and news coming out saying that, now moving forward from 2000, it's like people had, four different career changes in their time before. So it was really interesting for me because the joke was always, that here I am, automotive engineer, and I'm selling water filters. But then I started doing this in very large groups, like 3,000. Hi, Lisa Marie. Hi, Jim. Hi, Shelly. And all of a sudden, it was like really crazy. I would say, how many people in the room have a college degree? And it was pretty amazing. It was like 50%. I think California is way different than a lot of other areas in the world. And I would then say to them immediately, hey, listen, how many of you are currently doing what your degree was in? And it was like less than 10% of the people were doing something that their degree said to do. And so that's crazy to me. That was crazy that people had a college degree, but then you ask them what they're doing and they're doing something different. But understand, all of them were there to hear about a business opportunity. You know what I mean? So it didn't make a difference what they're doing. It wasn't going as well as it should. And so then all of a sudden we look at the ages, and I'm just going through them, and I know you guys are catching this. But then all of a sudden there became this deal where, that being an entrepreneur was all of a sudden something big. For those of you that really have paid close attention to network marketing, there used to be a time where it was growing by leaps and bounds. It was just like everyone seemed to want to do a side hustle, that their current income needed extra income. Are you following me? But one of the things that they would always say is sort of figure out your passion and your purpose, and then you needed to focus on that and just don't quit. Focus. What? No, what is it? Craig, stay on one path until finished or something.
Focus on success. No, focus on. Oh boy. Hang on, hang
He'll
on.
he'll come up to it. I threw him off when I said the word focus. So the acronym was, complete until you finish something.
Follow one
Whatever.
course until success.
Follow one course until success. Okay, great. So then all of a sudden this gig economy comes out. And when this gig economy comes out, then all of a sudden, like my son shared with me, as soon as it became available to everyone, we're talking about, Uber and Lyft and deliveries and Dash, DoorDash, right? All these things I've never used. And it's the only reason why is I live in a rural area. No one's coming out here. And so what's really, really unique is all of a sudden there became so much opportunities for people that if people needed immediate income, they could get an app, put their information in it, and make money and get paid today. You know how hard that is to beat? I used to have to work for 45 days before I got my first check, in the business opportunity world. And then once you got going, then you got paid every 30 days. But my whole point is, if someone needs money, they need money now. And if there's options for them to get money and make money now, then why would they build anything long term? So some of you have been around me a long, long, long time. And so what I've shared with people is like, how are you going to switch your mindset? How are you going to switch your mindset from an 8-second attention span to thinking long term? Why am I trying to go against the flow? So one of the things that I see very uniquely is some of the stuff that Matt's working on is a person can purchase it, create something with it, and immediately share it with somebody. It's like if the whole world right now is in this 8-second mentality where they need instant gratification, how many of you think that it would be easier to feed people that have no attention span with something that would take up their attention span because they would be creating something over and over again instead of trying to get them to focus on learning something? And so that's when I shared with every one of you that, as the world changes, you know what I mean? I don't know how many of you guys got a chance. I know it's long, but it's worth it. But Matt posted, this remix and Unlimited Wisdom, and I'm halfway through it, and just the thoughts of everything clicking like that. And I just loved where it said, on a thing that I've always said, and also, click. Napoleon Hill talked about is that we're all connected, not live or dead, in this ether, called the intelligence, right? And I just thought it was really, really interesting that people are inspired by what other people do, and then through all the different inspirations, they create what they create. Does that make sense? So there's something that we look at and we go, that looks pretty awesome. I could make that, or, make a better mousetrap, or I'll use part of this, part of this, part of this. And I really said this a couple of videos ago, where when you start thinking, because I know there's people that immediately have this programmed in their brain. So the thing that they have programmed in their brain is that they're stealing somebody's stuff. They're copywriting someone's stuff, right? And one of the things that a person really needs to do is understand, if you steal one thing, then that might be an infringement on copyrights or whatever. When you're researching from a bunch of people's stuff, that's called research. So I really thought it was interesting because it really changes your thought patterns when you watch something and you see how music's involved. till now. And I also loved about the remix thing that, says, well, why does some of this stuff work? And it's because we're familiar with it and we like it. There was another thing that I thought was powerful with that remix thing is why people do things that are familiar with us and they use characters that are familiar with us is because the way that we figure things out is by things that we've already seen, heard, and experienced. Does that make sense to everyone? So it's like, so that's sort of like, oh, I know what this is, I know what this is, I know what this is. So it's neat how it showed doing it with music. Then it shows now I'm halfway through the video and it's showing it doing it with movies. So I say all this to say that when I just look at how fast the world is moving and how fast everything is changing, that it just seems to be like you got to be in a scenario. It's like some of the stuff that you guys have seen us marketing, to think that unlimited wisdom is less than a half a years old. I think I started it like at the beginning of August. So what is that? August, September, October, November, December, January, February. Wow. March, April, May. So 10 months. Wow, I was blown away that we've been doing that. But one of the things that I think is very, very important for all of us to understand is as new things get developed, it's like, we had a great breakthrough yesterday. For all of you that are part of Breakthrough, thank you so much. And Lisa Marie brought up something that I thought would be important to share with people is that as new things are created and new things that excite you, and then all of a sudden through that excitement, you think this is something that I'm willing to share. Because if you would have told me 2 years ago that if any one of you reached out to me and said, Robert, just tell me what to do. I don't want to think anymore. I don't want to think anymore. Every time I think, I get myself in the wrong problem. Would you tell me what to do? Just tell me what to do. And I would very simply ask the question now that I've never asked in my career. Well, before I tell you what to do, can you tell me what you would do? How different is that? I used to tell people all the time, let's get a why to make you cry. You got to have a reason to do this. What's your purpose? What's your passion? And now it's like, can you really quickly tell me what you do all day? Because that's apparently what you like and willing to do right now. Why don't we just do more of that? And what is going to be the first and only thought that pops in your mind? You're going to go, well, the stuff that I do, I don't know if that's going to make me any money. Can we just talk about that for a moment? So I'm just saying, I'm just talking from my heart. All right? Just talking from my heart. So I need to make money. So then I get involved in things that are supposed to make me money. But I don't like doing that shit. So I'm not going to. So I'm not going to make money. Did you guys catch that? Okay, but wait a minute. I need to do things to make me money. Okay, do these. And now it's so obvious for me. Because still I have people all the time that reach out to me and go, Robert, what is your secret? What is the one thing? I said, how bold do you want me to be? You really just want to know the one thing? Yeah. I basically ask God what to do, and I ask him all day, and I just follow that. Okay, what would be the second thing you would do? Because hey, no one wants to do this. You guys always, I know that I come up with these things, and I'm not saying this next step to boast. But, when I fell down on the stage in Bogota, Colombia, right? I do not need to be this heavy. So I told Mauricio and Mauricio, the owner of the company, while we were waiting to get on a flight from Bogota to Houston, I said, I'm coming up with a new thing. He goes, what is it? I said, it's going to be called Immunifast. And he goes, what is Immunifast? And I said, Immunifast is I'm going to prove to people that you can lose 100 pounds and the only thing you need to be on is Immunotech products. And he goes, what's the longest that you've been on a fast? I said, 31 days. He goes, you got to be kidding me. He goes, I don't know anyone that goes on a 30-day fast. And I said, well, this one's going to be 40. And he went, I don't think I can make it 3 days. And I'm going, my ability, my will, my decision making, it's like I've been on a lot of fasts. And I just say to myself, I'm on a fast, and Terry smiles at me, and then she doesn't cook me anything. And it's like, I know this is going to blow some of you away. The first time that I did the fast, I just remember that the first like few days was really difficult for me. Now the first few days are nothing to me. No hunger pains, no headaches, no lack of exhaustion. And I know why, because as I continue to keep fasting and getting gooder and gooder and gooder with it, every time I get gooder with it, my mind now knows what to expect. So the first day, I'm thinking all day that I'm fasting and I haven't ate anything. So when your mind starts thinking, I didn't have supper, I didn't have breakfast, I didn't have lunch, now your stomach starts cramping. You get a little bit of stomach pains from being hungry. You might have, people all say this, right? They get hungry, hanger.
Hangry.
Hangry, okay? So it's like you listen to people and it's like, I gotta eat, like they're addicted to food or sugar or carbohydrates or whatever. And they're just like, listen, you know what I mean? I gotta eat. And these are the times. Here's something scientifically that I figured out, and you don't have to debate it. But do you guys realize that when human beings are on this planet, just like every other animal on the planet, they don't eat 3 times a day? It's like we wasn't even fucking designed to eat 3 times a day. Let that sink in. So people are going, well, once a day? No, a couple of times a week. Whoa. So who would tell us that we would need 3 square meals a day? Companies that make food. We'll even call it breakfast. We'll call it lunch. We'll call it all these names. Do the pyramid. It's like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy that other animals and humans used to, what would it be called? Just graze. Just graze. So, so one of the things I wanted to share with you guys is like everything else in life, if you get gooder at doing it, then the next time that you do it, it's easier. And then the next time you do it, you're easier. But there is something else that you get. It not only gets easier, but you get more results. You create more. When you create more, it stimulates you and it excites you. It gives you joy. And then you create more. And then you create more. How many of you guys are following me right now? So, I know that doing creation stuff. So if you would have told me that all this stuff was going to happen to me, you know what I mean? That all of a sudden it's like, Matt's creativity part of his mind is so on high high, wide open. That he creates a product that creates a product that creates a product. And I think that some of us have been around long enough. It's like, well, wait a minute. What are we doing? What are we doing? How many things are there? The ones that you're willing to do, right? So if we create a product and then you look at it and you say, wow, I'd like to try it out, I'd like to see it, and then all of a sudden you don't do it, I'd rather you guys just ask for your money back. But you got to find what you want to do. So what's the new thing that I'm sharing with people is, again, just like we just talked about it. Someone asked me, okay, what's your second thing? Your second thing is you have to find a way to connect with people. I'm now looking at some of the stuff that Bob has done, Coach Bob, and then also, this whole concept of social media, you know what I mean? And creating things that would excite somebody enough to click on it so that you can get them to click on something else and then end up purchasing. We do live in a different world today. You know what I mean? So because right now, if you talk to any kind of professionals out there in the network marketing world, they're saying it's harder to recruit now than it ever has been. And the reason that it is because it takes a long time to develop the communication skills that I have, to ask the right questions, to get people to trust me, to open their heart to me. So then I can dreamscape them and get them to understand that it's worth learning this new skill. Does that make sense? So now I understand why people don't want to be trained. It's like, listen, Robert, I see what you're doing, so I'm just going to sell something. See, I'm just going to go out there and create stuff and sell stuff. I'm not interested in learning the communication skills to build a team. Look at Coach Bob. And it's like, but when I got in this industry, there wasn't another way. You see what I mean? It was like, if you were going to walk away from your job or replace your income, you had to build a team. Because it was impossible to do the volume required. Listen closely. It was impossible to do the volume required to make a full-time income just doing sales. Are you guys hearing me? So normal comp plans pay 10% of your volume. All right, so let's say you wanted to hit that magic number of 10 grand. That's 100,000 in wholesale volume. So you take that and you divide it by the wholesale PV points. So I don't want to get off track here, but if we said, okay, 100,000, and let's divide that by a product wholesale of 30, right? You'd have to sell 3,300 products a month. This now doesn't become a dream that seems like it's relatable or even possible. We've all been giving Coach Bob, a pat on the back and telling him how proud we are. And we all are. But he gets 103 customers in 1 month and then 190 in the next month, right? How many of you notice that that's a lot less than 3,333 products? But some of you right away will go, I don't need 10 grand. Okay, what do you need? You need only 1,500 customers? That's 5,000. Need 2,500. That's 750. Are you guys getting me? It didn't take long for my mentor to make me understand that I needed focus on leverage of building people instead of focusing on product sales. But I'm doing it because I like making money. I like making a lot of money. I don't love money, but I like making a lot of money. It gives you a lot of choices, allows you to give to people. It's just awesome, right? So nowadays, let's get to nowadays. So if that's a difficult job, why is it a difficult job? Is because people have too many options. And I think that is freaking awesome. So when we get Matt and he gets to go on one of his tangents and he starts talking about not only there are not going to be any jobs in the future, but there's not even going to be a need for money in the future. And so now what you got to do all day, every day is what? Do the stuff that you love to do? What if you wanted to make money? Well, all you would do is create something that someone loved using to create. Are you guys following this? So that's why I wanted to really share with you guys that the things that you probably need to be doing is, again, just do this with your mind. Just go, what am I willing to do? What do I do? What excites me? And if something excites you today that didn't excite you 2 days ago, why is that a problem? Where's the programming coming from that is going, whoa, I used to do this, but now I'm doing this? I used to tell Matt, and I said this years ago, maybe I spoke some of this into existence. And I go, how many of you are willing to admit that sometimes you get a little upset with company jumpers? There's a very, 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 very well-known person that we all know. And it's like, it doesn't seem like it can go 2 weeks without her launching something new, right? And it's like, it's just interesting. But if a person's in this company and then this company and this company and then this company and this company, there's a group of people that are going, how many companies can you get in? And I'm not interested. But I don't know this for sure as I say this. But what if every time that she launches something, a few people are getting into this, and a few people are getting into this, and a few people are getting into this, and a few people are getting into this? So she really has no loyalty to any of them. But is she still building an army if there's, 20 people in this, 10 people in this, 40 people in this? Are you guys listening to me? And it's like, so sometimes we judge things based on like the remix that Matt sent. We just know what we know. And so now I'm all of a sudden, Matt's my son. I would do anything for him. Anything. So if Matt and his creativity goes, Dad, look at what I created for your oldest son. Hydro desk. Wow. I don't know. I don't sell any water filters. I used to sell water filters. So my son created that because he was thinking of an idea of how to make his older brother a way to make things simpler for them. Does that make sense to you guys? All he was doing is saying, instead of putting a bunch of shit on a spreadsheet and trying to put check marks, whether you followed up or set an appointment or went, did a sell or whatever, instead of having it on spreadsheets, maybe we can just do something that would make their job easier. And it's that skill that he learned that got him excited, that when I shared this stuff with Josh, that Josh said, well, I got this idea and I even got a domain. It's called AI Upline. How many of you guys are willing to admit that just because you got a great idea doesn't mean that it's going to win in the marketplace? It's like, I told you guys this story already, that when I first seen network marketing, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know about any other company. And I swear to God, still to this day, I have the thought, you would have to be an idiot not to do this kind of marketing. I don't say that anymore. Because now I know that if it's not something that you're excited to do every day, I don't think you should do it. Because you're just wasting money. Is anybody other than me bought a gym membership? All right. And then you didn't use it. Okay. Bought a piece of exercise equipment and didn't use it. See, that doesn't make me a bad person for buying something with the intentions of believing that I would do it. And then I get up in the morning and it's like, no, I'm not doing it. But hey, it's just who we are, I think, as human beings. So it would be better to get up, and I remember hearing this probably not even a year ago, is someone said, what would you do? What would be fun for you to do, but you'd have to get off the couch to do it? See, it was like, then all of a sudden I went, wow, I could take the golden retrievers for a walk. I mean, you can't even mention that. And all of a sudden. And it's like, so I thought, well, I'm going to do that. So in one of my fasts I did when we lived in California is I took the boys for a walk every day. I think that's when Sam was sick, so Terry was back here. So I tend to do things when Terry's not around when it comes to exercise, right? But what a good time for me to take a fast. She's gonna take off on Tuesday, and I'm really don't want to get up and make something. So this would be easy for me. So I bring all this up to share with you is like just really take a deep breath, and as you just it's okay to make decisions, and then you can got an idea what you're going to do. But man, like I said before, me and Eric Markman were talking about this today. It's like if anybody looked at my life that really truly knows me, is all day every day I'm doing what I want to do. Holy shit. I've never said that on a video ever. I'm relaxing. I'm asking God, use me. What am I doing? And I do that, and I just keep following his prompting. And I've learned to trust him. And so I'm doing this, 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 I'm doing this. And all while I'm doing this stuff and other thoughts are popping into my head, I can stop in a millisecond and start doing that. And I can stop in a millisecond and I can do that. And so there was a time when people would go, I think Deborah Bronner has said this to me. You see her in her age still beating herself up about time management. Is it just me, or does everyone find this? Deborah should be doing stuff that she loves to do every day. That's it. But if we're constantly piling onto ourselves and worrying and stressing ourselves out that I didn't do that, I didn't do that, I didn't do that, and I didn't do that. Why are you always putting things off and putting them off and putting them off and putting them off and putting them off? Because it's not your thinking. It's not you beating yourself up with procrastination. It's just not mastering with your spirit and your soul. And how many people are willing to admit that you could want to do something, but it's like your self part of you gets to override that all of the time. And so we ask this what to do instead of asking that part that's connected to us what to do. Not to get too crazy, I'll talk about this on Sunday. But for those of you that truly believe that God exists inside of you, whatever you call it, the force, the source, and I'm not going to give it away, but when you think about superheroes, they're all flawed, but they all have a superpower. So when I used to do Events for Life mechanic, I used to give out a cape, and you would put a cape on it, and on it says Life Mechanic. Melody still got hers. And I was like, what if you could get up, do whatever you do to get ready, and then when it's ready to do some stuff that you love, you put your super cape on? Well, how many of you know that superheroes only get to do with the gift they have? And I already feel like I want to get into it too much, but I don't want to. But there's some people that have superpowers and they don't know where they got them from. So what's the difference between a person that doesn't know their powers and then they find them, and then you got Spider-Man that's just a normal person until he gets bit by a spider, and then he's got superpowers. So where did Batman get his superpowers from? He created himself. See, he was motivated, sort of like John Wick. And it's like, I have a vengeance of doing something, and this is what I'm going to do. So how does Batman become as strong as Superman? That doesn't make any sense, does it? Because Batman built it himself, and Superman has just a little much more going on. Yeah, like Eric said, Superman, he needs to go someplace. He just jumps in the air with one arm and he's gone. Batman has to walk to the Batmobile. or get on his jet, right? And so to give just a little teaser away for Sunday, but then you got people like Iron Man and the Avengers, and he's nothing without his suit. He created a suit that he can put on, and the suit really does everything. What a concept, right? And then in a clip I'm going to show on Sunday, Captain America is just all in, Iron Man's face about how selfish he is. Because not only did he create the suit to get the superpowers, but everything he does is for himself. And he's getting in his face about it. And then Iron Man says, listen, you are nothing, absolutely nothing. And everything you are came out of a bottle. So Captain America was made by them injecting stuff in him. And that's where he gets his superpowers. That's what I believe the Holy Spirit is. There's some of you that don't believe in powers. There's some of you that believe that you have gifts. There's some of you that believe the only way you can get the gifts is by doing it yourself. Is this getting you guys? There's some of you that believe that you can't do anything without anybody else's help. And then there's some of you that actually believe that you have a force or a source inside you. You don't understand it. You don't need to understand it. And the more you get to use it, the more you don't understand it. Because that's a thing called faith. It is not seen, it's felt. And we get to see this in everybody. So when you see someone singing and you're not paying attention, then you see another person sing and you're frozen and your chin starts quivering and your eyes fill up with water. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with me right now? It's because that person is tapped in. For those of you that love sports and you see people do unhuman things. They do unhuman things. And you watch it, whether they're throwing the ball or they're catching the ball or they're kicking the ball. And you just watch these people and you just go, oh my God, it just inspires you. That's what I want to talk about on Sunday. So what I want to continue to do with Unlimited Wisdom is get you guys to understand that if you could tap into the gift that you are, the miracle that you are, the creation that you are, then when things come in and out of your life, just like people, has anyone had someone in their life and when they left, it really hurt? Has anyone came in your life that you wish didn't? Like the pain started immediately? So we have all these people that go in and out of our lives. Why don't we look at that when we're in creation mode? Because I'm one of the very few people that I know when people talk about a company I was in the past, and you know what they usually say when they were working with me? Oh my God, what if they wouldn't have messed up that company? Because it seemed effortless. They were making more money than they ever made in their life, and everything was going really, really good. But then all of a sudden something happens to change, and we forget about our heart and our spirit and our soul, and immediately go back in our head and we go, this sucks, sour owl shit. Because what we're doing is we're trying to push ourselves to do stuff that our spirit and soul are saying, no way. I don't want to do that. I'm not interested in doing that. Did this help you guys? So I love you. I appreciate you. I'll turn it over to CJ. I love you, Fahad, Shelly, Michael, Melody, Lisa Marie, Jim, Eric, Dustin, Sandy, Deborah, Coach Bob, Matthew, and Ezra, and CJ, the hostess with the mostest. And one more quick thing. Lisa, our communication yesterday on the breakthrough pulled this out of me. So thank you for being you. So I'm dedicating this daily wisdom, even though some of you were on there, but I'm dedicating this to Lisa Marie. So she, because you guys are so special and I love you so much. And if some of you right now are paying monthly fees for stuff just to support Matt and Terry and I, and it's not feeding you, you need to stop the payments. So Lisa Marie knew that AI upline's not for her, but she was struggling about it or even bringing it up because she wants to support Matt and the Hollis family. Okay, so she brought that out. I went, man, if a group of people are leaning on me for answers, I got to get them to fall in love with themselves again. You guys always see, sometimes I go out, then I come back. But when you're doing what do I want to know from you guys every day is just how happy you are, how fulfilled you are. The problem with faith is that you got to really fall in love with that thing that gives you joy, believing that there will be a way that it'll start bringing in money. So that's what me and Eric talked about. It's like Eric is tuned in on one way that God uses him, but he doesn't understand that Eric's life would be totally different if he was doing what I was doing every day. He'd have my results and better. So I love you guys. Craig, back to you.
I wanted to let that sink in for a moment. That's how amazing today's message was, Robert. Bless you. Thank you so very much. and watch the replay. Okay? Watch the replay. Take the time to watch the replay. So many great nuggets in there. Just a reminder, tomorrow, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, is Ask Us Anything. Please join us there. Sunday, as Robert has teased us, Master's Mind. You need to be there. We're going to continue this conversation. Noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. Monday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon p.m. Eastern. Recess! And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, every day, their daily wisdoms, like today, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. Thursdays are breakthroughs, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. Check the calendar and join us. Something every single day here in Unlimited Wisdom. We love and appreciate you. There's some things that we've shared in the chat. If you want to save that chat, click the 3 dots in the meeting chat, then click Save Chat. It will download to your computer as we conclude. And bless you all, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. I'm going to go ahead and unmute so we can all say so long and have a fantabulous Friday.
Thank you, Robert.
Bye, everyone. I love you,
Bye,
Todd,
everyone.
Michael,
Thank y'all so
Angela.
much. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Eric.
That was incredible.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Dustin. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Michael and Angela. Melody, I love you. CJ,
Have a good
hostess
day.
with the mostest. Coach Bob. Whoop, whoop. Thank you, hostess with the mostest.